Hello and welcome back to my garden. Today I'm finishing the last little bit of planting I have to do before all of my garden beds are full for the season. Well, at least until my cool crops are done, and then I'll have a bit more space to do a bit more planting. But all of these garden beds right here are warm weather crops. And today we're going to plant the last little bit. We're going to plant some cucumbers along the back and some zucchini in the front. And that's going to finish off this bed, this 4 by 3, 4 foot by 3 foot bed. It's a raised bed. I love growing in raised beds. I find that my plants thrive in the soil that I'm using, the environment that they're in, and they just do really, really well. So I grow all of my veggies in raised beds and grow bags, which are up on my deck. But today we're going to focus on this bed, which is planting cucumbers and zucchini. You can see I already have some cucumbers planted. I planted those about a week ago. They're thriving, they're taking off. So it's time to get the rest of them in the ground and then add some zucchini to the front. We're going to be planting a yellow zucchini and a green zucchini to add some color. I think it's going to look really great here in the front of this raised bed. On the other side, I have a lot of tomatoes and a few bush beans here as well as some basil and some cilantro. I like mixing in herbs with my vegetables, as well as marigolds. If you didn't know, marigolds actually help keep some of those bad bugs away, the scent of them, as well as basil. You definitely want to plant basil with your tomatoes. First of all, they go together like jelly and peanut butter, but it also helps keep those bad critters away. I'll probably end up adding some basil here in the middle or some parsley, maybe some chives, something like that. I love mixing in herbs with my veggies in the gardens. I think it makes it look really, really great and helps fill out the garden bed. So here we go. Cucumbers and zucchini. Let's get to planting. So I've already amended the soil for the season. I've added fresh bagged potting soil, raised bed potting mix. This is a really nice, light, fluffy soil. It's already got some nutrients in it. Plus, I added some slow release granular fertilizer. And that I spread throughout the garden bed. That's going to help feed the plants throughout the garden season. When I plant the cucumbers and the zucchini, we're also going to feed the plants with a quick release fertilizer, a water soluble fertilizer, and that will help give the plants the nutrients right away so that it can help them get established into the ground and get growing right away. So they're going to get a good boost of fertilizer when we plant them in the ground. This soil is ready, other than the fact that it's been walked through and probably dug up a little bit by critters, specifically probably squirrels. So let's get to planting these cucumbers. Cucumbers are a vining vegetable. They are a warm season crop. They thrive in those warmer temperatures. They also really like full sun. So you want to make sure to plant them in a place that gets at least 6, 8, 10 hours of sun a day. That's going to help your cucumbers thrive. The cucumbers we're going to be planting today are the National Pickling Cucumber, a beautiful cucumber, a small cucumber, quick grower, prolific grower. They are abundant. You will get a great harvest with these. They're really great to munch on. They're sweet, they're small. They're a little bit, they're a little bit spiny, but you can just wash that off, not a problem. These are definitely ready to be planted. I've planted these in a 6 pack. The cells are a little bit bigger, so I didn't have to up pot these. They're going to go right from these cells into the ground. This is really important because the roots of cucumbers don't like to be disturbed. If you can direct seed these, absolutely go ahead. You can drop seeds right into the ground and they will take off. I tend to have critters dig up my seeds, squirrels, chipmunks, raccoons, skunks, you name it. So I like to start with transplants and put those in the ground. That's what we're doing today. I'm pretty sure that the cucumbers that are planted over there are Space Master cucumbers. They could also be straight eights. I can't remember. Honestly, I don't tend to worry too much about the variety of cucumber. I love them all. I'm not picky. The plants are going to get mixed up as they grow up the trellises. I use tomato cages to trellis my cucumbers. They are a vining crop. So I like to grow them up instead of bushing out. It saves me space in my garden, allows me to grow plants closer together. And I love seeing the vegetables grow up. It helps create airflow for the cucumbers themselves when they start growing. It allows the bees to get to them easier so that they can be pollinated. There are so many benefits to growing up trellises, and there are so many ways to trellis your cucumbers as well. We're going to start by digging a hole in the back and working our way this way towards the back and front of the garden bed here. Now, to pop your cucumber out of your seed tray, all we're going to do is flip it upside down, gently place our fingers around the stem. You want to be careful not to break the stem, and we're going to squeeze the bottom of this cell, and it should pop right out. And I've got two popping out here together. These are beautiful and ready to be planted. Not root bound whatsoever, ready to go into the ground. We're just going to take our cell, drop it right down. It doesn't need to be any deeper than soil level. Soil level is just fine for cucumbers. Okay, we're going to poke another hole right there. Drop this cucumber right down into the hole and backfill it. It's just that simple. If you already have your garden bed set and you don't need to amend your soil as you plant and you've pre-amended your soil, it makes it really easy for planting because we're still going to use a water-soluble fertilizer. Let's get another one in the ground before I add the cage back in. So again, we're just going to flip this upside down, squeeze the cell out. Beautiful. Look at that. Let's dig this one a little bit deeper, get it into the ground. I just love planting cucumbers. I have cucumbers planted in another area of my garden as well. You can never have too many cucumbers, can you? Okay, let's add the cage back in. So we're going to add another cucumber right back here. Pop out our cucumber transplant. Now, these transplants are a little dry, so I'm going to water them in before I add the water-soluble fertilizer. It's important that they get the nutrients and the water that they need to get off to a strong start. Pop out another transplant here. And we've got one more. Let's put him right here in the middle of this cage. Beautiful. Our cucumbers are planted. Let's move on to our zucchini. This is our dark green zucchini, and if you can see, there are actually three individual plants in here. Now, zucchini grow very, very large. They're a warm season crop. They absolutely thrive in the warm temperatures. They need 8 hours of sun, 6, 8, 10 hours of sun a day. I'm going to grow these up a trellis as well. These are bushing vegetables, but they do take up a lot of space. And I find that when I use a trellis and grow them up a cage, that I can grow them closer together. Again, it creates more airflow. Again, it allows you to harvest those vegetables a little bit easier and for those vegetables to get pollinated. But three plants in one space is just too many. So what we're going to do is we're going to plant these, we're going to let them get established, and then I'm going to thin them down in about a week or two. Once they've had a chance to grow a little bit, I will thin the weakest plants and leave just one. This one here is the same. There are three little transplants. This is the yellow zucchini. I will leave these to grow for a week or two, get established, and then we will thin them down to just one plant. So let's get to planting. We're going to plant one over there and one over here and leave a little bit of a gap in the middle. So for our green zucchini, all we're going to do is dig our hole. Our soil has been amended. We don't need to dig it very large. We just need to go soil level. We're going to do the same thing we did with the cucumber. We're going to tip it up upside down. This is going to pop out just like this. Beautiful. These roots, we're just going to loosen a little bit at the bottom. Put him in the ground, not too low. Beautiful. I love seeing the green in the soil. Absolutely beautiful. Let's plant our yellow zucchini. We're going to plant the yellow zucchini right here. We're going to dig our hole, not too deep. Again, we're just going to flip it upside down. Beautiful. Now, I must say that the cucumbers I grew by seed myself, these are transplants I picked up at the garden center. They are beautiful. I grew most of the veggies by seed myself, and I do have some zucchini and squash growing by seed that I grew that will be planted elsewhere in my garden, but these are transplants from the garden center. Okay, let's add our cages. Now, you don't need a particularly large tomato cage. A medium tomato cage will do just fine. We're just going to place it right over the middle of our crops there. And what you do is exactly what I just did there, is feed the leaves up through the cage as they grow. Add a cage to this one. And our zucchini and our cucumber are planted. The first thing I'm going to do before I fertilize is water in my new seedlings. These ones weren't as dry as the cucumbers were, but it's still important to water in your seedlings when you plant. You want the roots to get off to a strong start. It's going to also be a really sunny day today, almost 30 degrees Celsius. They will need the water. It is still fairly early in the morning, but as the heat picks up during the day, they're definitely going to need this water, being freshly transplanted. So we are just soaking these in right down along the root. We're going to do the same with the cucumbers. The cucumbers were a little bit more dry. Really want to get the water down to them. Beautiful. And now we're going to fertilize. So I've already mixed a water-soluble fertilizer into this watering can. The water there has soaked down. So we're just going to give these veggies a little bit of a drink with the water-soluble fertilizer. Cucumbers as well. Then finish the can, giving all my cucumbers a drink. Why not? And they are planted. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe if you found it helpful, and share it with a friend so that they can learn too. I'll see you in the next video. Bye, friends.